Hello, nerds, and welcome back to Lily's Ranger Talk. I am Lily with Lily's Ranger World, and we're gonna have a fun episode today. Woohoo! I'm so cringy, guys. Oh my god. Um, Today's episode will be. Wait, let me put on the echo. Ranking Super Sentai Season. I am so cringe today. But yes, today we're going to be ranking all the Super Sentai seasons that I have watched, which means Shinkenger is not on this list. I'm sorry. Um and probably a lot of your favorites because I haven't watched Deca Ranger. I haven't fully watched Dai Ranger or Abba Ranger. What else is a favorite? Kiki Ranger, Go Busters, Core Ranger. Haven't watched it. Um that being said, this is also probably going to be an outdated list by the time I have uploaded this video because, well, I have a feeling that by the time I upload this, I will be done with both Boom Boonger and Kaku Ranger, which are the two seasons that I am currently watching. Um, but do not fear, because there is a way if you really want to see like my list of Super Sentai seasons updated. There is a way to do that, and that is by following me on Instagram at Lily_Ranger_World. I always update the list when I finish a Super Sentai season. That being said, let's get into the list. Let's start with honorable mentions, that being Boom Ranger and Kaku Ranger. They're great shows. I do like Boom Ranger. I don't like it. I was actually looking at this the other day, like, predicting where I'm going to put it on the list. I will say this. I don't know if I liked it as... I know I don't like it as much as King Oger. But I'm still, like, on the fence of how much I like it compared to, like, other seasons on the list. But it's still a really good show. I love the characters. I love the villains, and I love pretty much a lot about it. The only thing that I'm really annoyed with is, and this doesn't even have to do with Boom Boonger itself, it's not their fault. I am very behind on it. And that's because the site I use, I don't know what's going on, but the last episode they uploaded was the Christmas one, and they haven't uploaded it since. And any other website I try, like I try Tokuzilla, it does not work because like ads and stuff. So it's very annoying because this is the only website I can use that works for me. So I'm very annoyed and very worried because I really want to watch the new Sentai season that's coming out in like a few weeks. And may already be out by the time I upload this. I'm acting like I'm gonna upload this not next week, because I just finished recording my Kaku Ranger review. Anyways, speaking of Kaku Ranger. Also, great show. For both these, if you want to know my halfway review on both shows, they are both episodes on my page, on this page. So, check it out. I will put a link in the description. I need to make a playlist of all these episodes, which I probably will, and I'll put them in the description so you can watch it, because it's a fun time. That being said, let's go from worst Super Sentai season that I've watched to the best. So, I mean, you guys already know this. At number 12 on my list is Machine Sentai Major. I'm not going to go too into this because you guys already know. My very first episode of this podcast was talking about why I did not like Major, but if you want the shortened version of it, didn't like the monster designs, the Majors were and I watched way too many good Super Sentai seasons beforehand, so that's why I personally do not like Major, but I like the song, I like the suits. Also, disclaimer, a majority of these Sentai seasons I did not write notes for. So I'm going off of memory. That being said, number 11 is the first Super Sentai season that I watched, Mahou Sentai Magi Ranger. I'm very sad it's this low. I really enjoyed the season. I liked the family aspect. There were a lot of characters that I loved. Like, I loved Hoka. I loved Makito. Like, those two were, like, my favorite characters in the entire show. I liked Hikaru. And I honestly probably liked Hikaru, like, and I say this with, like, the grainiest salt. Well, I don't even know if that's the right word. I like him, like, a tad bit more. Like, literally a smidge than Daggeron. But only, like, a little bit. But yeah, I really liked this season. I liked Nightmare and Vancuria. I had to think of her name. But I think one of the, like, main reasons why I have it this low is just because there were other Sentai shows that I liked better. And honestly, I think that is it with a majority of these seasons. Like, there are just seasons that I liked better. At number 10 is Tensou Sentai Go Sager. I talked about this season on my Rangers Unpopular Opinion, not my Rangers, my Super Sentai Unpopular Opinion video. And that is that I really think this season's underrated. I enjoyed it. Again, there are 9 others that I enjoyed more. But I thought, like, the characters were fun and memorable. I thought the story was great. Monster designs were great, but say it with me now. Any monster design is better than Kia Major. I loved Gosei Knight's story arc. That was great. Loved the suits. I think those suits are underrated. And honestly, I wish Ghost Sager was more popular. But like I said in that Super Sentai Unpopular Opinion video, I think the main reason why it isn't is because it's sandwiched between Shinkenger and Gokaiger. And obviously, you know, you can't go wrong with either of the series. They're S tier seasons. I say that not watching Shinkenger fully yet, but I will at some point. At number 9, we have a newer show on the list, and that is Avatar Sentai Dome Brothers. Again, I really like the story. I like the characters. I thought Sonoi, Sononi, and Sonoza were very interesting characters, and I love Sonoza with all of my heart. And this show is very special to me because I watched this show in real time with you guys, and it's the first time I've done that because I didn't do it for Senkaiger, kind of. Well, no, I didn't. But I was like a year late, so does it count? It counts. That being said, I have stuff to bitch about, but the number one thing, and if you follow me on Instagram, you already know what I'm gonna say. Why the hell did it take 44 episodes for any of the Dome brothers to find out that Inu brother was Tsubasa? That drives me mad. Like, every time I think about it, like, Sononi knew, but I am so mad. The other thing is, the connection of Dome Brother and Zenkaiger being Kaito. They're really... See, they say that it was a sequel to Zenkaiger, right? So I was like, maybe I should watch Zenkaiger to, you know, understand, like, what's going on. So I breezed through Zenkaiger, which, don't get me wrong, I'm glad I watched that show. But really, the only connection between Zenkaiger and Dome Brother was Kaito. And it wasn't even the same Kaito. It was a different Kaito. But that wasn't explained for the longest time. It was technically, I don't even think it was really explained in the movie either. Um Also, the thing that really also bothered me, but I knew why they didn't do it, was the fact that they didn't do like a roll call until like the very, very last episode. And when I say last episode, like I mean the very last episode. Actually, they did it once without, I think, Tsubasa, shockingly, or actually it might have been Jiro. I don't know. Also, and I feel bad about saying this, I love Kiji brother, Kijino, but I felt like his character got worse throughout the show. Specifically with like his possessiveness over his wife. That being said, I still liked him. It's just I feel like his character got worse. Is there anything else I need to talk about? I already said 44 episodes. I'm gonna say it again. 44 episodes. I did like how they didn't know each other at first, though. That was cool. But also, I felt like it took way too long for... It did take way too long for them to get together, because they still didn't know... Again, 44 episodes. It drives me crazy every time I think about it. Like, that pisses me off. I'm gonna stop talking about Stone Brother, or else I'm gonna be here for a while. Anyways, and number 8, we have Shojin Sentai Jetman, the first 90s show I watched. I feel... Okay, so very early on, I predicted that Jetman was actually going to shake up my top 5. And I'm really happy with my top 5, so, like, while I didn't want it to happen, you know, I would have been fine with it. So it honestly does shock me that it's at number 8. And, honestly, will probably be lower as I watch more shows. But let me start with the positives before I get to the negatives. Love the characters. I love them. They're great. But there are some... Oh, wait. Let me continue with the positives. Monster designs. Like I said on this page several times, genuinely terrifying the Virums are. And also, their stories... Chef's kisses. And I loved Maria. I thought she was a great... Is Maria... That is not her name. Maria is the name of... I mean, I love her too. Who am I thinking of? Aya. I'm thinking of Aya. Although, don't get me wrong, Maria is also great. But I didn't really like Ryu that much as a red. And then there's the ending. The only... Okay, like, I knew that guy was gonna die. I already knew that. But the death, it just didn't seem like that big of a deal, especially when he died 3 other times in the show. In fact, one of the episodes was called Guy Dies, so, like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, though, I still love Guy. Don't come at me. But yeah, I think it was a good show. I think it was... But again, I don't think it's as good as the other ones on my list that I've watched. At number 7, we have Lupat, aka, hold on, I'm looking this up. I got it right. Kato Sentai Lupin Ranger versus Kisatu Sentai Peta Ranger. I got that right, because I never say the full name. I always say Lupat. Anyways, it's such a unique concept with them fighting each other, you know, cops and robbers. I always like unique Sentais like this. And that concept really made me want to watch it. And, you know, I love how they interact with each other, the teams, both in suit and out of suit. I was going to say off suit. The characters are great. Yeah, I think Blue specifically in this is a little bit forgettable. When I think of Tuma, I think of... Well, actually, no. I take that back. he's kind of forgettable, but there is one thing I remember about him, and that is the funny episode that he has with Sakura, one of my favorite greens, um, where they do like the aerobics thing. It's so funny because he's like, "Wait, this is clearly aerobics," and then the other Lupin Rangers make fun of him. It's so funny, but yeah, but the other characters are really memorable. Kyrie is honestly probably one of my favorite Sentai Reds. He has such a compelling, interesting story, and I also like anti-heroes, similar to Gokaigers. They're anti-heroes. Um, what else is there to say? I love the suits, specifically the Lupin Ranger suits. I'm a little mixed about the Pata Ranger suits, which I think I talked about actually on Instagram in an early episode. Um, I love the concept of the monsters having like the chest inside and having the treasure that they desperately need to save their loved ones. The fact that they did save their loved ones in the end. I don't know if I said this earlier, but there will be spoilers. I probably did. Um, Again, I'm recording this on a separate day as I recorded everything else. So, and I did listen back to it, but not the whole thing. Anyways, I guess the one thing I kind of didn't like about it was, and I'm going thinking about this, was the ending that they were still fighting despite the fact that they know each other. I don't know. I get why they did it. It was, they at the end of the day they are still thieves. But you know, other than that, great show. Really enjoyed it. At number 6, we have Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, an anniversary season. Let me just get this out of the way. Yes, the Kikais, all of them, are kind of forgettable. Even Majin, and I really like Majin, but she's probably one of the most forgettable ones. But Kaito was a really great character. I really enjoyed getting to know him and knowing his story and his character arc. And you cannot deny that. He is a great leader. Also, the show is just very, very funny. I think it is a good anniversary season. Do I think it's better than other anniversary seasons? No, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But I definitely think, especially compared to Dome Brothers, that they did it better. Like the gear system, they did it better. Because it wasn't like Dome Brothers where, it was their suits, which was also like Gokaiger. But it was, their little weapons and their special abilities, which I think is cool. Now, they did have a gun where they could put the teams out and they would fight them even sometimes before they got access to that. And that's very cool and very interesting. But it wasn't them being like the Rangers themselves. Also, Zox was a great character. And I loved his family. Flint was one of my favorite characters. Who else did I really like? I liked Stacy and his story. Also really, really great. Um, I liked the concept of like different worlds and the gears. Um, Again, I just very much enjoyed this season. It was actually in my top 5 for a while. Um, and overall, it's great. But personally, I like I said, Dome Brothers is not a good sequel series to Zenkaiger because I just don't think it is one. I think you can watch both separately. Um, that being said, let's move on to the top 5. At number 5, we have Reisha Sentai Togyuger, which may or may not surprise people because I know some people are very split on this series. They either love it or they hate it, and I am the former. I love it. I love the story. I think it's a very interesting concept. And actually, Togyuger's inspired my play Train for the No Ones, which takes place on a train, and these people do not exist. which I did not get that part from Tokijers, but I got the train part from Tokijers. Um, but I love the story about, oh, these kids and their kids are just trying to find their hometown, man. And personally, I thought this would have been a great 5-person team where you didn't need a sixth ranger, and then Akira just waltzes in playing his harmonica, and he's the perfect character, and he's so great, and I love him so much that in Boom Boonger, when I found out that Akira was coming back, I cried in the dining hall. Okay, I didn't cry, but like I felt like crying because I was so excited. I love the concept of all of them switching colors. Um, 3 of the characters are amazing. I already talked about Akira, but I also love Tokachi and Kagura. Specifically, Tokachi's focus episodes were some really good, and the ones I remember the most. The other 3, Wright was okay. I liked him. Because this was a red centered Sentai, and his story arc was really good, and I did like him a lot. Um, Mio was fine. She was good, but again, kind of forgettable. But I do remember things from her too. And then Hickory, again, I liked him, but a little forgettable. I loved Wagon. I think that was her name, the little assistant. And then the conductor, and I just really enjoyed the season. It took me by the surprise, because I personally did thought I was gonna not like it. I did try to watch it before, back in 2022, I believe. Um, and I only got past like maybe episode 5. But this time I stuck with it, and it's in my top 5. And Tokijers, like, is one of the reasons why I'm so hesitant to put anything on in number 5. I think I have, in my opinion, a perfect top 5 for me. But yeah. At number 4 is the Boti Sentai Zyuohger. Hey, another anniversary season. Well, kind of. Let me get the mechas out of the way, because the mechas are so cool, because they're like Minecraft. I mean, I had to say it, but they look so cool, and I genuinely do love them. I think they're, like I said, they're really cool. Because I don't really talk about mechas a lot, but going back to the show itself, I love the concept of the Zoomins. I think they're very interesting people. The Zyuohgers themselves, Tusk, kind of forgettable. Same with Amu, unfortunately. Leo is great. I love him. He's fun. Sayla is the love of my life, and we all know this. But unfortunately, she's also kind of forgettable. Yamato, great red. This is a red focus season, similar to Tokijers, but I don't know. I feel like they handled Yamato's story really well, and he just seemed like a really chill dude, and I liked him. This was in number 3 for the longest time, this show. And then it got knocked down by the current number 3. If there was one thing I didn't like and was kind of forgettable, the bird character, who's like the orange guy. What's his name actually, Birdo? I don't actually remember his name. So that's fun. But yeah, overall it was great season, great story. That was the one where they did where the monsters it was like a whole game show thing, I think. And that was cool. Interesting concept. I liked the movie too. The like after movie special, because it was a great, in my opinion, a good conclusion to the series. I forgot about Mik-chan! I forgot about Misao. I love him. Great character arc. And he's just like me, depressed and anxious. I love him so much. Oh my gosh, how could I forget him? I think I forgot him when So I originally was going to do this as a Canva presentation, and then Canva Pro would not let me, download it because it was over 30 minutes and I didn't have Pro. And I think I forgot to talk about him there too. How dare I? Next, at number 3, we have Osama Sentai King Oger, the latest complete season of Super Sentai, because Again, at the time of recording, Boominger is not done yet, but we're getting close. This show also really took me by surprise. It was so good that before the finale, I ranked it in number 3, defrowning, pun intended, Sue Oger, because I just had a feeling that the finale was going to be great. And the finale was great. Like, the show was so good, I was concerned for Boom Boom Chair in the beginning. Because I loved the story. Yes, it was another... Actually, I don't even think this was that much of a red focus Sentai. I feel like they focused on everyone pretty equally. Rita's my favorite because they are the best. And Go Diversity. Himino, also really great. I love Gira. Really, there's not a single king I hate. Even Yama, who was kind of it for me. Like, I don't hate him, but he was kind of, like, forgettable. Was not forgettable at the same time. Like, it's a weird in-between. I like the story arc, and honestly, some of the story arc took me by surprise. It was I don't want to say it was, like, unpredictable, but it wasn't completely predictable either. Like, for example, Radcules. I knew he was going to come back. I knew he didn't actually die when he did. But what I didn't expect was him being on our side. I thought he was going to be the final boss. Like, I thought they were going to destroy, I can't remember his name, but the other, like, he's not a Buganark. He's someone else. But I thought, like I said, I thought he was going to be the final boss after they defeat that guy. But it turned out that this whole time, he had to be this evil person just to be a good person. And that really did take me by surprise. And I think they did well with explaining that. The only character that I didn't really like in this entire series was Kaguragi's sister Suzume. I thought she was annoying. But I loved everyone from the King Ogres to their retainers. They were great. And yes, I am a firm shipper of Himino and Rita. Let them kiss in Bumuger versus King Ogre, please, and thank you, Toei. If there's one complaint I have with King Ogres, it has nothing to do with the season itself. It has to do with the movie. Not even the movie, the special. I call them movies. Some people call them specials. Let me call them movies. Anyways, so actually, I was able to talk about this now because I didn't when I was first recording this. I finally watched the Dome Brothers versus King Ogre movie, which I was terrified of watching because of how bad the Dome Brother versus Senkaigen movie was for me. And I liked the movie. It was just way too short. And I don't know why it was. Because I thought maybe, because they're doing 2 movies, one for versus Koreager and one versus Dome Brothers, that maybe they both got 20 minutes. And then I look and the Koreager one got 40 minutes. Because they're usually an hour long. So I don't know why they did that. Personally, did we need a Koreager versus movie? It came out in 2024. 11 years after this series. I get why they did it in 2023 for that one episode, which I thought was a good episode. But yeah, I just didn't get it. Moving on. Coming in at number 2. Let the Super Sentai mob attack me for putting this at number 2. Kaizoku Sentai Go Kaiger! Woohoo! Yes, I know it's at number 2, but that does not mean I hate the series. I absolutely adore Gokaiger. At first, I didn't get it because I watched it. I watched it right after Magic Ranger, like the first episode, and I was like, I don't get the hype. And then I watched it again a year later. Not even, it was close to a year. And I was so loving every second of it. And the irony is that I didn't watch a lot of series before Gokaiger, premiered. I watched a lot of the newer stuff. but I still had like this deep appreciation for all the people who came back. There were so many cameos. Even though I, at that time, never watched an episode of this fully, I watched 2 episodes of it, like in 2023, and then I stopped just because I was like, let's move on. I did grow up watching clips on the internet of Super Sentai Hurricaneer. I didn't know what they were saying, but I grew up watching like the roll call and then the theme song. Same with Go Under, and Geki Ranger too. So when the Hurricaneers came back, the 3 of them, I had that sense of nostalgia when they did like the whole roll call thing. Like, I was like, I feel like I'm 7 years old and have no idea what this is, and back then I thought Japan was stealing from Power Rangers because I didn't know. So that was just something really cool to appreciate. And of course, I love the Gokaigers. They're all great. Captain Marvelous' story was amazing, and then everyone else. And of course, you guys know my favorite is Luca. I have a stuffed dinosaur that I named after her. It's just Chef's Kisses. The Gokai Galleon is amazing. I just can't get enough of it. I was so cool to see Joe back, also in Boom Ranger. I wish it was the whole team. I know why it can't be the whole team. But yeah, overall, it's a really great season. Go watch it. It's so good. It makes Super Mega Force look terrible. So if you're Super Mega Force like lover, watch Gokaiger and see why people hate it. Not Gokaiger, obviously, Super Mega Force. Anyways, at number 1, to nobody's surprise, especially if you followed me on Instagram and you know me, my number 1 favorite Super Sentai season is Uchi Sentai Q Ranger. Look, I know they had too many Rangers, and that meant that people's stories didn't get completely fleshed out, and some people didn't get a lot of focus. Specifically, my favorite Ranger, Raptor. Again, I have a stuffed cow named after her. I love her so much, but I don't care. It's a very special show to me. I watched it my sophomore year of college in fall 2021. And I was really struggling with my mental health. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but I was watching this at the time and it comforted me because it was a great show. I thought the story was good. I loved each and every one of the Q Rangers. Well, except for Tsurugi, but even him, I liked him. I just didn't like him enough. Because in all of the lists that I have made, of like all the individual Rangers, which if you guys want to see that, please let me know. All of them are very high up on the list. Only one of them is number 1, I think. I don't know, it's been a hot second since I looked at the list. But they're just all great. I love Hammy. Obviously I already talked about Raptor. I love Stinger. And I can't remember Sky Blue's name. Oh, that's annoying. I'm gonna be mad at that later. Also Stinger and Champ's relationship, Garu and Lucky's relationship. I wish we got more of Spada and Raptor, because I think they have a really cute relationship. And overall, it's just a really great show and a great dynamic, seeing all these different, people come together. And yeah, for me, it's just a really special show. I do want to go back and rewatch Q Ranger at some point, because it's been 4 years since I've seen it. And I want to know, do I personally still think it's at number 1 compared to everything else that I've watched? Personally, I do think it'll still be at number 1 if I do watch it again. Just because again, it's just that special of a show for me. And we all had that, like, special show. And, you know, for Power Rangers, that was Time Force for me, and Beetleborgs. And for Super Sentai, that's Q Ranger. With that being said, that is it for today's video. Please let me know your favorite Super Sentai seasons. And if you have any recommendations, because, again, there's a bunch of them I haven't watched, please let me know. Also, I figured out how to do the whole iCard thing. So, in the iCard, if you want to watch the last episode, which is the Kaku Ranger halfway review, click on it, and it will take you right there. And please subscribe while you're at it, because we're going to be doing a lot more of these videos. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!